I am excited and also nervous. This has been a long time coming. This work started when Leah was still around, and the team have been working tirelessly to try and get this off the ground and make it public, just as a real good kind of starting point for everybody to be able to see what's actually happening with the Zero project, to be able to access some of the training that we do, and to be able to access some information around the team, what we do, how we do it, who's involved, who's your local person in your local area, just so you can put a face to the name. So we've included some of that in the website. With, I guess, I'll just go through a couple of the functions of the website before I move into the most interesting part, which is the dashboard. So we've got the meet the team page, which has all of our team on there with a little blurb, and not your usual blurb, just a bit of something funky, so you can learn a little bit of something personal about people, rather than just the bog standard of this is my career and this is where I've been. So all of our team have really unique skills and knowledge that they bring. Everybody's got, you know, a great personality, and, you know, most of their work is around that stakeholder engagement. So if you ever see them around, don't be afraid to approach them. They won't bite. So please introduce yourself, and they will more than likely introduce themselves. So our partners, we thought it was really important to acknowledge all of the partners that are part of the Zero project. So we can't end homelessness alone. No single organisation can do that. And we need to collaborate to be able to achieve ending rough sleeping within WA. So some of our partners, or most of our partners, are on here. We're just waiting for a couple of logos from people. So if you click on any of the partners' websites, it will take you directly to there. So Zero projects, we've put this a couple of times in the site, is that we don't do direct service delivery for people. So we are the people that do that connection, that collaboration, bring people together to be able to facilitate change. So we couldn't do it without our partners. So thank you very much for those people that are involved. We'll then move. We don't need to go through all the partners, I don't think, Royston. We'll be here for a very long time. The important one, Yakwa, there at the bottom. So we've got a news and updates page. So on here, we're going to do monthly updates around what's going on in the sector. So I think that, you know, we can probably all agree that there's not been a lot of great press around homelessness in general, and in the media there is a lot of information around what's actually happening in our local communities, and that none of the services are doing things about it. And what the media fails to kind of report on is the amazing collaboration that's happening behind the scenes of different organisations coming together, wrapping support around individuals to make sure that they get the support that they need, and in some cases get the housing that they need as well. So we thought that it would be a great opportunity to put some of those stories on the website, just so people know that actually members of the public can access this, and they know that, yes, you know, we do have an issue at the moment where there are people experiencing homelessness within our community, but as much as we don't have housing right now, these are all the great things that we're doing without that. What we've also put on here as well is that where it all began is Connections Week. So in the regions that John mentioned before, so Bunbury, Geraldton, Mandurah and Rockingham, we did a Connections Week either late last year or early this year to kickstart the by name list in each of those communities. And following that Connections Week, we then had John from the Alliance and the Zero project go to those communities and actually bring people together to set a community goal on what they were going to do around people experiencing rough sleeping within their community. So you can see all of the community goals on here and what they're aiming to do. I will leave Perth and Connections Week till the end. So I won't go through this page much more, and we'll let Teal do that. Then the most important thing is the dashboard. So what we have here is we'll go through this first. So we have each aim statement, so which is the community goal. And then we've published, which for those people that were on our kind of email, or if you've seen it on LinkedIn, we have a dashboard around the inflow and outflow of people experiencing rough sleeping or chronic homelessness within our community. So we have a dashboard that is for Perth, Fremantle and surrounds. And as John mentioned before, we actually got to quality data with that in May this year. And I'm excited to update the news and updates page next month with some information around that. So you can see the inflow and outflow. We've also included in here the percentage of Aboriginal and Torres Straits Islanders that are on our by name list. You can see the amount of young people, which is 86 people that are recorded on the by name list that are active at the moment. And we just wanted to do an acknowledgement of deaths. So people that have died on the streets in our community, and as a society, we can do much better than that. So I think that acknowledging those people that have passed away is an important thing to do. We've then got a timeline which talks about the inflow, outflow of across month by month. So we started producing the dashboard in April. So you can see that we've got the inactive, which is the yellow. I can't see that because I've not got my glasses on. So we've got inactive, which is the yellow. So that's people that have moved out of homelessness and we don't quite know where they've gone to. So they've not had an update for 3 months. So they might have gone to prison, they might have moved out of the area, but we've lost contact with them. No service has seen them within the last 3 months. Then we've got the housing placement. So you can see the green section at the bottom or teal. So each month by month, how many housing placements we've had. Then we have, yeah, you can see that we had the most 13 in April, and then we've kind of dropped down a little bit and gone back up to 8 for August. I can't, can you scroll down a little bit, Royston? Because no, up then, sorry, I can't see the, so then return from inactive, so people that disappeared for 3 months and then suddenly came back into our community. We've got the newly identified, which is the light blue, so new people that haven't been picked up by a service before that suddenly have. And then we've got the orange, which is those people that were housed and then returned to homelessness from housing. So we can see that in April, there was quite a high number of those people. So 16 people, which, you know, would have been around the time of the rental moratorium. And then gradually that's gone down. And so we've got 4 people. So it looks, what we can do with that information and that data is that we can really zone in on that and really think about, well, you know, what are the services that are out there that are meant to be supporting people to maintain their tenancies, to stop them falling back into homelessness, and how can we facilitate some change or systematic change around that. Thank you. If you continue to scroll down, yeah. We've actually got the rough sleep account as well. So the 10-year strategy on ending homelessness, the first 5 years of that is to focus on rough sleeping. So we've put a rough sleep account on here. So you can see that we peaked in May and then gradually we've gone down. So we are reducing rough sleeping. We all know that we do need some more housing. At the moment, you know, as Trish said before, there's been, you know, an influx of information around providing more money for housing, and there's also been some temporary, as much as it's not housing first, there has been some temporary options that become available. And then the caveats for the data, which are really important. So I printed this out so I can read it. So I just wanted to make sure that the data isn't misinterpreted. We've had a lot of people that when we provided data and we've said, you know, you need to use the caveats, that those caveats haven't been, you know, correctly used. And we want to make sure that people know exactly what the data is reporting, and not just that it's statewide. And this is all homelessness, it's not. So obviously from month by month, the inflow and outflow data may not match up with the emitted data due to emitted categories. So people will go in and update all of the time. And our by name list is quite unique in the sense to the other ones that are across Australia, is that other by name lists have dedicated people that are entering information. And there's probably only a few of them. We've chose to go quite large in that, and we've trained up, you know, over 40 organisations with multiple services within those organisations and multiple workers. So there is an element of human error when it comes to people entering data into that, into the by name list. So we rely on people making sure that they do a data entry before the 10th of every month, and because after the 10th of every month, that's when we pull the stats for the next month. The data will vary from day to day because the by name list is a live dashboard and users are consistently updating. So if somebody, we're not asking people to wait until the end of the month. If somebody moves into a house tomorrow, then we expect that, you know, they'll go in and enter that information tomorrow. Up to 70% of the people on the by name list do not have a lead worker or organisation, which highlights a massive gap within our community. We need more workers, we need more funding for more workers to be able to support people. With that, it's not research quality data, so it's extracted snapshots are only an indication of what participate in organisations. So all of those organisations that have signed an MOU that are on our partners page, they're the ones that are entering information into the by name list. There are multiple organisations that do work in the community sector that are providing services to homeless people that we would love to have on board. So if you work closely with another organisation that isn't part of the Zero project, please get them to hit us up. It's not a mandatory database, so we can't force people to do updates, but you know what we do is that we do presentations like this, we do information sessions, we talk about the methodology all of the time, and that we can only end homelessness if we know who is experiencing homelessness within our community by name and what their experience of homelessness has been. So we need people to contribute and participate. People on the by name list, so the dashboard is not a snapshot of all homelessness, so we're really focused on rough sleeping and chronic homelessness. At least 90% of rough sleepers are believed to be captured on the by name list from outreach work carried out by the partnered funded homeless organisations. The data is not isolated to local government authorities at the moment. The data captured is not statewide, it's limited to where the Housing First support services are located. So those areas that were funded as part of the HIFI project at the moment, I will say. And the per Fremantle and surrounds by name list might not necessarily align to the current Housing First funded services because that data kind of predates this by name list. We had a by name list of sorts that started in 2016 after the first Connections Week around the 50 Lives, 50 Homes project. And it is suspected that young people are underrepresented in the by name list as well. So just wanted to make note of all of those caveats, just so people are aware that there are some gaps and we do need more people to contribute, but this is what we've got right now, and this is a starting point. What I have put on here, just as a show and tell for today, is the Bunbury, Geraldton, Mandurah and Rockingham data snapshot. So Royston, if you want to click on one of them and just scroll down, so we can see that there's a different aim statement, slightly, you know, different, because that's focused on Bunbury Township is the geographical area there. We can see, if you scroll down again, that there's 58 people currently active on the Bunbury by name list. There's one that was successfully moved into permanent housing. There are 15 people that have been newly identified. So that's by name list, along with Geraldton and Mandurah and Rockingham, are all at the beginning of their journey right now. So they're not yet at quality data. So I've turned this on of a purpose of show and tell, and it will be on for the rest of the day. But after today, I'll be turning that off until we get to the end of the year, where everybody is set to reach quality data by December. So that's the dashboard. And then for other bits and pieces is we've got a training and events page. So we've got all of the information on here around our training, what we provide. Housing First for Youth is on there, but it says this is estimated to be live in January. And we've got Leah with us today, who's working on some of that training. So it'll talk about some of the other bits and pieces that we can do, training around the by name list, training around VI Split apps, introduction to the methodology. We can also do some presentations for people if needed. We've got a little blurb on there about the trainers. You can skip past me. And we've got Leah Watkins, who's one of our trainers, and also Sarah Zanella, who works for St. Bart's, who's also completed the Housing First Train the Trainer training. Just underneath that, you'll find our upcoming events. So there is a VI Spadat open course that's happening in 20th of October, so people can register there. We'll also share some of the training that's being produced by the Australian Alliance to End Homelessness. So they often do an introduction to Advanced Zero methodology, and they work quite closely, and we work quite closely with Community Solutions from America, where Built for Zero came from. So they will also be doing some training that we'll advertise on there for people to take part in. In our publications and resources page, we have got all of the publications and resources. So you will find everything on here that you need to know. So the youth snapshot is on here, so you can print it out and take it with you if you want. Share it. There's the Aboriginal snapshot. We've got all of the 50 Lives, 50 Homes reports, which is where this work began. We've also included in here the Connections Weeks reports from the different regions, so you can see where their work began and how their by name list has grown since they did their Connections Week. And we've got some information around the Built for Zero methodology, so there's a little video on there, so if you want to watch that and get a bit more of an idea of what it is. And we've also included we did a series of bite-sized chats earlier this year, where we introduced, we interviewed people from around the globe around different principles of housing first, and what they meant in the different areas. So that is the Zero Project website, guys, and the dashboard. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions?